International Oshun Festival. We equally bring you the news behind the news as far as the internationally acclaimed festival is concerned. That is going to be one of our DATELINE package reports tonight. Good evening and welcome to OSBC. Oluwatoyin Yusuf is mining. We start as usual with the hard news segment of our package. Chairman, I beg your pardon. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to extend the voters' registration or face legal action. The group made this known in a letter signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare. The group asked INEC to immediately give 7 million Nigerians who have carried out their voter registration online the time and opportunity to complete the process so that they can obtain their permanent voter cards and exercise their right to vote. INEC recently disclosed that out of 10,487,072 Nigerians who carried out their pre-registration online, only 3,444,378 completed the process at a physical center. At physical centers, SERAP noted that the data represented just 32.8% of completed online registration. The organization also said the failure of the applicants to complete their registration may be due to factors entirely outside their control, especially given the well-documented challenges faced by many Nigerians at registration centers across the country. Ms. Oluwadare stressed further that a failure to extend the registration may make the organization and the affected Nigerians consider appropriate legal actions to compel INEC to comply in the interest of the public. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Otunba Segun Laditon, will tomorrow morning address a press conference which is aimed at unveiling the next move of the Commission as regards the conduct of local government election in the state. According to a statement by the head Press and Publicity Osun Independent Electoral Commission by Patrick Fanawoko, the event holds at the conference hall of the commission located along Odikun Road, Testing Ground area, Osogbo, in the morning. The statement further enjoins invited members of the fourth estate of the realm to attend as a matter of duty. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed his former personal assistant on new media, Bashir Ahmad, as special assistant to the President of Digital Communication. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, confirmed the appointment in a letter of appointment addressed to Ahmad, and the appointment took effect from July. The appointment came about 2 months after the presidential media aide failed to secure the All Progressives Congress Federal House of Representatives ticket for Gaya Ajingi Albaso Federal Constituency at the May 22 primaries. All cabinet members and presidential aides who resigned to contest the various electoral offices in the APC but failed to secure the tickets were not reinstated. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ove Omagege, has attributed the prevailing poverty, political instability, insurgents, and the collapse of government institutions to leadership failure. Omagege made the observation in Efuru Warri, Delta State. Represented by Mr. Matthew Omanade, Omagege said he believed in unity and urged people to enforce sound ethic leadership rooted in respect, honesty, service, equity, justice, and community service. Omagege, the All Progressives Congress governorship flag bearer in Delta, noted that over the years, poor leadership has frustrated the achievement of the country's enormous economic and political potentials. According to him, all hope is not lost because state and nation building all over the world have been and remain a permanent work in progress. The senator represented data centers and other districts to say that the country needed leaders with good moral conduct and ethical responsibility to attend to demands, needs, and problems of Nigeria. Members of the House of Representatives will, on resumption from their 2-month yearly recess, begin debate on the general principles of a bill which seeks to establish the Police Procurement Fund. The private member bill, sponsored by Obinna Chidoka, representing the Million North South Federal Constituency in Anambra State, seeks to provide adequate funding for the procurement of law enforcement equipment for the Nigerian Police Force for effective protection of lives and property. The bill, which was seen by the newsmen, scaled through its first reading before the House embarked on a 2-month recess. The first clause provides that the police procurement fund, into which shall be paid such sums, being 1% deduction of monthly revenue allocations due to the federal, state, and local governments, any other sums from time to time freely donated by other governments, international bodies, non-government organizations, private sector, or accruing to the government, and such sums as may be provided for the purpose of equipping the police by the federal government. Another clause provides that the fund shall be utilized for the procurement of body armor, ballistic vests, electronic surveillance equipment, armored vehicles, helicopters, personal carriers, communication equipment, armaments, and munition, among others. As part of giving back to the community in the spirit of Osun Osogbo Festival, Trophy Lagabia rewarded some of their loyal consumers as they went home with exciting prizes at the party organized for her consumers at Freedom Park, Osogbo, the state capital. Our reporter, Omatayo Adibodun, has the details.
Trophy Lager, also known as Honorable, has consistently delivered on its promises to give consumer a crisp and refreshing beer experience with a very high quality credentials. As lovers of the largest and acceptable drink, Trophy Lager have expressed their satisfaction on the beer product. Trophy beer, which is in bottle and can, has been described as the best and have risen to become the topmost alcoholic drink in Nigeria. Those who spoke with OSBC News described the Trophy beer product as the best drink for the Omolua base. Some maintained that they always preferred it chilled, while some noted that they prefer the ordinary because that is the only way they enjoy the largely acceptable Trophy Lager beer.
Good energy drink. That is why I like the Honorable. Honorable is a very good in a body.
I like to welcome us.
The reason why I like Honorable is that maybe I'm thinking or anything. If I drink Honorable, I will be okay. So that's why I like Honorable to be drinking.
Now, trophy number 1, drinking beer. Now, trophy I used to start drinking beer. So since then, now trophy I dey take since. Even if I die, I go tell my pikin say now trophy they go used to do my burial. Now trophy kill me.
Trophy Lager beer has been brewed, crafted, and produced by the International Breweries PLC in Ilesha, Osun State. Leading beer brand Trophy Lager, a product of Giant Brewers International Breweries PLC, also put a smile on faces of its teeming customers as some of the customers went home with different prices. Omotayo Adibodun, OSBC News.
The National Drugs Enforcement Agency, NDLA, said it had intercepted 1.1 million tablets of tramadol in Kaduna State. The Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLA, Mr. Femi Bafemi, said this in a statement in Abuja. Bafemi, who said the 3 suspects were arrested in connection with the drugs seized in Zaria, added that the drugs weighed 38.3 kilograms. Meanwhile, anti-narcotic officers at the Akano Ibiam International Airport in Enugu have arrested a 50-year-old man, Ebere Chiku, for ingesting 77 pellets of cocaine. Bafemi said that the suspect was arrested following his arrival from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on board an Ethiopia airline flight. Jigawa state government has confirmed the death of 50 persons with many others displaced as flood ravages parts of the state. The Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Sani Yusuf, who made the disclosure while briefing newsmen in Tutsi, said the flood had also destroyed thousands of houses in the state. Yusuf stated that the situation had forced many Jigawa residents to take refuge in other places, including government buildings. It was gathered that the state government accommodated many displaced persons in 11 temporary camps. Some of the victims are from Balangu village, where no fewer than 237 houses were submerged underwater and destroyed, with 4 people. dead. We now go on a short break. When we return, we bring you Dateline reports proper. Please stay tuned. Yes, you're welcome back. And just before we bring you our daily reports, let's quickly look at the foreign scene. Mali Prime Minister Choguel Maiga, who has been on sick bed for some time, has been placed on forced arrest by his doctor. But one of his advisors denied the reports that Maiga had been hospitalized after suffering a stroke. This and other foreign reports are packaged by Abdul Jalil at DBC of our editorial desk.
Forced arrest by his doctor after months of intense exertion. His office said after 14 months of working without a break, the Prime Minister, head of government, was placed on forced arrest by his doctor, adding that he will resume his activities next week. One of his advisors denied the earlier media report that Maiga has been hospitalized after suffering a stroke. Mali's ruling military government named the former opposition leader as Prime Minister of the transition government it leads in June of last year after a military coup in August 2020. The Chinese city of Shanghai says it will reopen all primary, middle, and high schools, kindergartens, and nurseries on the 1st of next month after months of COVID-19 closures. According to a statement by the Shanghai Municipal Education Commission today, the city will require all teachers and students to take nucleic acid tests for the coronavirus every day before leaving campus. It also called for teachers and students to carry out a 14-day self-health management within the city in advance of the school reopening. Shanghai shut all schools in mid-March before the city's 2-month lockdown to combat the worst COVID outbreak in April and May. At least 41 people were killed and 14 others injured in a fire at a church in the city of Giza near Cairo. Egypt's health ministry earlier said several people were killed in the fire at the Abu Sivin Coptic church in the Imbaba neighborhood today, and that ambulances transferred at least 55 injured people to local hospitals. According to a police statement, an initial investigation pointed to an electrical short circuit which broke out into fire as 5,000 worshippers gathered for mass, causing a stampede. 15 fire engines were dispatched to the scene to put out the flames while ambulances ferried the casualties to nearby hospitals. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi mobilized all state services to ensure that all measures are taken. Abdul Jalil at DBC OSBC News.
And our first deadline report tonight, one of the most celebrated traditional festivals that people look forward to in the month of August is the Osun Osogbo Festival. Perhaps this was connected to its worldwide acceptability. This celebration was not an exception, rather it was celebrated in a grand style. Saheed Adiboje covered the international festival called Osun Osogbo for DATELINE. Sit back and enjoy this package.
Until now, the Osun Osogbo Festival had always been the cynosure of all eyes, which attract people of various race and colors, both at home and abroad. To many of them, Osun Goddess is everything. Though the spiritual festival began as a result of the promise made by Laroye Gbadewolu that if the Osun Goddess would secure his town Osogbo, he would in turn continue to worship and pay homage to her annually. Lo and behold, Osogbo, the capital of Osun State, had never since then ravaged with war, but rather growing in leaps and bounds. Though the festival entails several spiritual activities, but among those that are popular is Iwokoko, the spiritual cleansing of Osogbo, where the Ataoja will sit at Popo, a street in Osogbo, where traditional chiefs, princes and princesses will pay homage to him and in return bless them and as well as Osogbo community. Few days after, would be the day when the 16-headed lamp at Tupaolojumen will be lighted right in front of the palace. With the 16-headed lamp put to shape, it is clear that the grand finale of Osun-Osogbo Festival is around. Friday, the 12th day of August 2022, was another grand finale of Osun-Osogbo International Festival, where people of various colors gathered for the annual rituals. The children dressed in their native attires were seen chanting songs. The Osun devotees, also known as the Olosuns, were dressed in their traditional white attire with brass cutlasses on their hands. Yes, they were all there to make the festival a symbolic one. For several hours, culturally inclined minds were awaiting the movement of the votary maids, also known as the Arugba Osun, to the Osun Grove, where they will all appease to the river goddess. Here came the moment. The beautifully dressed in damask wrapper Arugba came with the calabash on her head. From the palace of the Atauja, the camera lens of this reporter traced the votary maid as she moved through Idi-Osun Ojaoba, stopping intermittently at 3 designated points, including Osun Yita, before moving straight to the sacred Osun Grove, as custom demands. Custodian of Osogbo culture, the Atauja of Osogbo land, Obajimo Oyetunji Olanipekunlaro Oye II, could not resist his joy as he prayed fervently for his town. Governor Adeboyega Oyetola, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, explained his administration commitment to promoting tourism, culture, and tradition in a way that will further protect the state in a good limelight before the world. Governor Oyetola will note that Osun is known for peace, maintain that the existing peace will be sustained by his administration. For the gathering of an array of Osun devotees and thousands of fund seekers, the Arabawo of Osogbo land, High Chief Oshunda Agbonu Ifayemi Elebuibon, blessed the ancient town of Osogbo. This reporter did not only capture the spiritual aspect of the Osun-Osogbo festival, as he captured the stage play of these Apala musicians. Though this year's Osun-Osogbo festival has come and gone, but no doubt its memory lingers. For Dateline, this is Saeed Adeboje reporting.
The 2023 general election is gradually approaching, and the Independent National Commission INEC has left no one in doubt about its preparedness to surpass achievements made in past elections, particularly the use of technology to vote and transmit election results. Some Nigerians, however, feel that through this same technology, those living outside Nigeria can also participate and vote during the election. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is one of such Nigerians. The controversy generated by the issue is still raging, as some believe the country is not ripe for it. The question is, will Nigeria ever be ripe for diaspora voting? In this data report, Oluchi Amudai examines the pros and cons of the process.
It's an electoral season, and the ticking clock has continued to remind the people of the country that the 2023 general elections is fast approaching. Many constitutional issues that would have affected the smooth conduct of the election have been settled through the signing into law of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended by President Muhammadu Buhari. However, one issue that did not scale through in the bill when it was deliberated upon by the National Assembly was the issue of diaspora voting. The National Assembly failed to include diaspora voting in the amended electoral law, as lawmakers argued that the country is not ripe for it. Reports say about 17 million Nigerians, eligible voters living in the diaspora, are always disenfranchised during elections as a result of their place of residence. They, however, contribute to the development of the country through diaspora remittances. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, did not agree with the National Assembly's claim that the country is not ripe for diaspora voting. He claimed that INEC has proven that it could successfully deploy technology for the conduct of elections in Nigeria, and extending dates to those in the diaspora would not be a problem.
We believe that Nigerians should have the right to vote outside the country. Number one, and the most important, is that they are citizens of Nigeria interested in the affairs of their own country.
Professor Yakubu was not the only one that believes Nigerians in the diaspora need their voting rights as they contribute significantly to the growth of the nation. As one of the lawmakers, Honorable Rose Oko, said, Nigeria is ripe for it.
115 countries have done it worldwide, with Africa alone having 28 countries that have started diaspora voting. So we think that Nigeria should also begin to think in that direction.
Recently, the call for diaspora voting received more boost as former President Olusegun Obasanjo threw his weight behind it. Chief Obasanjo, who declared his support for the exercise when the Chief Executive Officer of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri, in choosing their leaders.
All that we needed to do, if there's need for constitutional arrangement, simple thing. Let's amend the constitution that Nigerians in diaspora will vote through the Nigerian embassy.
Honorable Abike Dabiri, who has been at the forefront of the advocacy for diaspora voting, argued that if Nigerians living abroad could be contributing millions of dollars annually through diaspora remittances for the development of the nation, they should also be allowed to participate in deciding who should govern them. In their separate reactions, Dr. Rashid Adebiyi and Engineer Bashir Lawal stated that it is a good thing for Nigeria to be at par with other developed democracies of the world. They, however, expressed some reservations.
At any point in time, the diaspora of the country are also part of the country. And when you look at statistics of what is being remitted into the country through the diaspora, you will understand that they should be given the opportunity to have a say. But we have to look at the process on the ground. We will not complicate the voting process that we already have. We will not complicate it where we have politicians picking loopholes as to the perfection of the entire process. So if we are able to do that, then we can say yes, give the diaspora the opportunity to also vote.
The only thing we're always skeptical of is these Nigerian factors. These Nigerian factors and the ability to believe in each other. Most of the time we doubt ourselves. We say, we have about how many million votes from America? Can it be true? And so on and so forth. Except that, I think Nigeria is right for it.
In his submissions, Mr. Said Adekileku advised INEC to first test the new technologies it introduced in the general elections to be able to determine its effectiveness and acceptability before embarking on the journey of diaspora voting.
My personal opinion is that we must learn very well how to work before we embark on running. Our electoral process has improved tremendously with the use of technology. A whole lot of these things are just coming in. New laws are just being approved, signed, promulgated to allow a whole lot of these inventions to come into our electoral process. I think for now, we should just allow some time to see how well are all these changes, we are able to accommodate them, and how better have we fared in the implementation of these changes. It is with that, when we are comfortable with all of these technological
advancement, introduction of all this into our electoral process, and we have perfected that. Then we can now say, okay, let's experiment with diaspora voting.
It is obvious that diaspora voting would be impossible to take place in next year's general election, since it was not included in the new electoral law. Supporters of the exercise are, however, hopeful that the dreams would become a reality in the nearest future. Oluchi Amuda for Dateline.
It is an undeniable fact that death is inevitable for all mankind, irrespective of their status and religious inclinations. However, while some pass away to the great beyond, their absence is greatly felt by families, close friends, and the community. The demise of the first Asiwaju of Ipetule, Chief Olatubo Somole, shook the entire town of Ipetule in Osun State, as many describe him as a man of great virtues whose influence and intellectual ability have shaped many lives for good. Daily reporter Oluwatobiloba Ojinuga witnessed and captured the 3-day memorable moments of the final home journey of the late Chief Olatubo Somole, who was highly celebrated even in death.
Hundreds of thousands of people from far and near all came down to Ipetule in Osun State to celebrate the life spent of an illustrious son of Ipetule, the first ever Asiwaju of Ipetule, Chief Olatubo Somole. The final home journey of late Chief Olatubo Somole began with a commendation service in his residence in Ipetule, with which family, friends, and neighbors testified to the exemplary life of late Chief Olatubo Somole. Those who spoke at the commendation service noted that the Asiwaju of Ipetule lived a life of self-satisfaction in his services to God, the church, and humanity, adding that his achievements and indelible marks in the lives of many will live forever. On Friday, the body of the Asiwaju of Ipetule, Chief Olatubo Somole, was taken to the All Souls Anglican Church, Osogbo, for a commendation service for the remarkable effort and the meritorious services of the deceased to God and the church, where members of the church sang and also noted that the vacuum left by late Chief Omole would be hard to fill because he served God with his time and resources in all the clubs he belongs to in the church. The body of Chief Olatubo Somole, the Asiwaju of Ipetule, was moved to his hometown, where the body was received by hundreds of people in his hometown. This followed with a tribute program organized by the Ipetule Development Association (IDA) for the late Chief Olatubo Somole, the Asiwaju of Ipetule, whom they describe as their mentor, a great man, and a leader of leaders who devoted all his life to the service of his birthplace, Ipetule. The president of Ipetule Development Association, Prince Nosiru Adeojo, including the IDA Financial Secretary, Pastor Jire Agbola, the principal members, and the community of the club, all spoke on the good things he has done for the community, noting that the death of Chief Omole is a big blow to the community.
Teaches one of the real meanings of life, that no one stays with you permanently, hence the need for you to learn to survive alone. And everybody was flabbergasted. They could not speak.
The Christian wake and service of song, which was held at the Methodist Church of Nigeria, Diocese of Imesile, Ipetule Circuit, witnessed the attendance of families, friends, colleagues from home and abroad, whom have one way or the other benefited from late Chief Olatubo Somole. The funeral and Thanksgiving service of late Chief Olatubo Somole, the Asiwaju of Ipetule, was held at the Methodist Church of Nigeria, Diocese of Imesile, Ipetule Circuit, where the body of the deceased was received into the church. In his sermon, the minister in charge, the Very Reverend David Omofioye, harped on the need for all to live an exemplary life that pleases God. Quoting copiously from the scriptures, Reverend Omofioye noted that death is inevitable and the very end of all mankind, but the end of each and every one matters. He urged all to always do things according to the word of God, adding that the joy of it all is that there is life after death for all who gives their life to Jesus Christ. Reverend Omofioye noted that late Chief Olatubo Somole was a generous man who loved the work of God with his life, adding that he was always ready to help the needy, even in the face of unpleasant provocation.
Scripture is calling every one of us today to give our life unto Him, unto this Christ, so that we can resurrect. Because every one of us needs to die this first death.
The children of late Chief Olatubos Omole, including Olaitan Omole da Silva, Temidayo Omole, and Dr. Omolola Omole, among others, spoke about how amazing their father was. They noted that their father's teaching as a well of wisdom will always live on, as he will remain their hero.
We are going to listen because you can't just find a replacement for him. I've met a lot of people who have worked with me for over 40 years. It's unfortunate that's happened.
In the same vein, the brother of the deceased, Dr. Wale Omole, also spoke on numerous achievements of his late brother in the church community and in the lives of many.
Just a good brother. He was a brother that loved all of us and tried his best for all of us.
Special prayers were offered for the wife, children, as well as extended families of late Chief Olatubos Omole. The remains of late Chief Olatubos Omole, the Asiwaju of Ikpetuile, was later committed to Mother Earth in his hometown. The funeral and Thanksgiving service for late Chief Omole, which had the attendance of the Secretary to the Osun State Government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, and the Akwetu of Ikpetuile, Oba Adekunle Falade Fatila, among others, climaxed with Thanksgiving celebration of the children and the extended families, followed by the choir rendition. The people were entertained at the reception with the thrilling performance of Yinka Ayefele. Late Asiwaju Olatubos Omole was born into the family of Omole of Ile-Aworo, Ikpetuile in Obokun local government area of Osun State on the 13th of August 1944. Late Asiwaju Omole in his lifetime served as one of the pioneers of the National Youth Service Corps from July 1973 to June 1974. He also served as a director of World Bank Project in Oyo State in 1988. He was also appointed as Director General of the Office of Planning and Budget, Osun State in 1994, and he was also appointed as the Permanent Secretary, Land Housing and Survey, Osun State on the 15th of January 1998, and retired as a Permanent Secretary on the 31st of August 1999. He was relevant to the church, his community, and many other places until his last day. He died at the age of 78 on the 2nd of May this year. Dateline wishes him eternal rest. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga for Dateline.
Tonight on Dateline, what a man can do, a woman can do even better, has been the case of Team Nigeria athletes this year's Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, as majority of the medals came from the girls and ladies who have continued to make the nation proud, while the male athletes appear to be struggling to reenact their glorious days. In this Dela report by Mata Adebodun, he takes a look at some of the outstanding female athletes who are now enjoying the moment ahead of their male compatriots.
The participation of women and girls in sport, physical fitness, and exercise have been recorded to have existed throughout history. However, participation rate and activities vary in accordance with nation, era, geography, and stage of economic development. While the initial occurring informally, the modern era of organized sports did not begin to emerge either for men or women until the late industrial age. Today, women's sports are more sport-specific and have developed in both amateur level of sport and professional level in various places internationally, but is found primarily within developed countries where conscious organization and accumulation of wealth have occurred. In the mid to later part of the 20th century, female participation in sport and the popularization of their involvement increased, particularly during its last quarter. Very few organized sports have been invented by women, as if the men are in deep slumber. The female athletes are the ones running the show in continental and global competitions now. From the 2022 African Cup of Nations in Morocco, where the undisputable queen of African football has over the time proved that she is the best female footballer on the continent after winning her 5th title in a row during the 2022 CAF Award in Morocco. As it stands now, she is the only female footballer on the continent who has won the title a record 5 times. She had won the other 4 titles in 2014, 2016, 2017, and 2019 to the World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA, and the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Nigerian female athletes were exceptional. Organizers of the just concluded 22nd Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK deserves high praise for delivering an event that proved to be a triumph of art, culture, multi-sport glory, and remarkable diversity. This was the first carbon-neutral Commonwealth Games to be organized, thus a pace-setter for other multi-sport events thereafter. It was also like no other Commonwealth Games before it, with the inclusion of more games and medals on offer for women's sports. For the first time, women cricket was introduced in addition to 8 para events that were integrated to further highlight the theme and inclusivity and diversity. The Commonwealth comprised of 72 nations and territory, most of which were formerly under the British Empire, representing 2.5 billion people of the world. This year's game had in attendance 6,500 athletes competing in 280 medal events. It started on a high note and it ended on an even higher note. But of course, the bigger excitement was the performance of the Nigerian contingent at the games, most especially the ladies. This was Nigeria's 15th appearance at the games, as a total of 93 athletes, 41 male and 52 women, competing in 7 sports: athletics, boxing, judo, powerlifting, table tennis, weightlifting, and wrestling. At the Commonwealth Games in 2022, Nigeria finished 7th on the medal table with a total of 35 medals, 12 gold, 9 silver, and 14 bronze medals. The last time Nigeria did something faintly close to this was at the 1994 Commonwealth Games in Victoria, Canada, when the country got 11 gold medals, 13 silver, and 13 bronze, and also at the 2014 Games in Glasgow, Scotland. This year's performance would be unforgettable, particularly with the record-breaking performance put up by Team Nigeria. The harvest of medal began with Adijat Olarin-Oye setting the Commonwealth record in weightlifting 55 kg category, lifting a total of 203 kg. Rafiatu Lawa also set a new record in 59 kg weightlifting with a total lift of 206 kg. Folashade Oluwafunmilayo also set a new record in women's heavyweight powerlifting, winning the gold medal. Her compatriot Bose Omalayo took the silver medal in the same event. Tobi Amusan, whose phenomenal performance at the World Athletics Championship in Oregon, US, had been celebrated 2 weeks earlier when she set a new record in the 100-meter hurdle, soon proved that her earlier performance was truly the steve of genius when she repeated the same feat at the Commonwealth Games and thus defended her title as undisputed Nigerian, African, Commonwealth, and world champion in 100-meter hurdle. She is in addition the first Nigerian athlete to successfully defend the Commonwealth Games 100-meter hurdle title, having won the same in Gold Coast, Australia in 2018. Nwachukwu Goodness provided a taste of additional goodness to Nigeria's performance when she won gold and set a new record in the women's discus throw with just her first 2 throws. Another hero in discus is Chioma Onyekwere. Nigeria also took gold and set another record when the quartet of Tobi Amusan, Favour Ofili, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Grace Nwokocha won gold medal in the 4x100 women's relay. Isebrume proved a nice cap on it when she also took the gold medal in the long jump, breaking the record in the event twice on the same day. It has been said that the ladies did better than the men, winning 9 out of all the 12 gold medals for Nigeria. This is not to make light of the effort of the men who won medals for Nigeria. Udodi Nwuzurik, Vefor Ashe, Alaba Akintola, and Raymond Eguero won a bronze medal in the men's 4x100 relay. Edidion Umafuya also won a bronze in 67 kg weightlifting. Overall, it was a good outing for Nigeria. Nigeria may not have done well in table tennis. Quadri Aruna-led men's table tennis team was beaten in the semi-final by India, dashing Nigeria's hope the women's table tennis could not advance to the quarterfinals, having been defeated by the English team. Nigeria could have done better if they had participated perhaps in more events, but the starting point would be for the country to develop the existing potential in other sports. World-class facilities are needed to train and build athletes. Many of the Nigerian athletes who often do well in major competitions may have been discovered at home, but they tend to get to the peak of their potential through foreign exposures and training. It should be possible to generate and keep what talent at home by making the environment more sport-friendly. The Commonwealth Games, in whatever form, would continue to showcase cities and put such cities on the global map, as it has done for Birmingham and other cities before now, in addition to providing a strong platform for athletes to prove their mettle in a manner that resonates throughout the Commonwealth and beyond, and a vehicle for the promotion of diplomacy, commonality, goodwill, and understanding through sports. Nigeria and its athletes must begin to prepare for the next game in 2026. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
What a comprehensive report by Omotayo Adebodun to celebrate the feat achieved by Team Nigeria to the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. And that brings the curtains on this week's edition of DATELINE on OSBC Television, as produced by Papatunde Bolatito and assisted by Abdul-Jadid Adebisi. I'm your regular anchor, Oluwatoyin Yusuf, wishing you a pleasant working week ahead. Good night.
This August, StarTimes is giving the best packages to make your family TV time entertaining. Informative documentaries, chart-topping music, blockbuster movies from Nollywood, Bollywood, and Hollywood. Mind-blowing series, talk shows.
Now yourself, now you know.
For sports fans, StarTimes has got you covered. Enjoy basketball, football, Formula One, kickboxing, and more. And for cartoon, welcome to StarTimes Fun Space. Enjoy the adventures of Superman and the Justice League on Toonami. All-time classics, SpongeBob SquarePants on Nickelodeon. Thomas and his friends on Jim Jam. This August, prepare to be mesmerized. StarTimes. Entertain your family.
Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited. Think quality in engine and machine fabrication. Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited is the name that comes to mind when it comes to the best in engine and machine fabrication. Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited is well ahead of contemporaries globally. Over 30 years experience, as well as local, state, and international awards attached to their competence in fabrication of various machines like feed mill mixer, industrial rice steel boiler, industrial gari processing machine, and industrial oven. Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited is a giant, located at Kilometer 10 or Badesoji Aderemi Bypass, behind Ifeolu Grammar School, Ilesha Garage, Oshogbo, Osun State. Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited is simply outstanding. For further inquiries, please call 0803-371-1447 and 0805-983-2227 or visit our website www.abielect.com. Abiola Electrical Machinery Company Limited, undoubtedly unbeatable.